I'm about to show my CEO, Nana Yaw, that I'm the real Serena Williams, right, on the court. We're going to be talking about his transition to Ghana, him being a diasporan and also a full Ghanaian, schooled here and everything, and how he is coping being the CEO of the biggest team in Africa, Asante Kotoko. Boss!
Course, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna whip you.
You're gonna whip me?
Yeah.
Oh no. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think it's possible.
Sweetness of the pudding is in the eating.
Oh really? How's your stay been so far at the Royal Senchi?
Very relaxing.
It's one of those places that when you come, you can really just forget about everything.
Yeah.
Especially the stress of Asante Kotoko.
I don't think the stress of Asante Kotoko you can ever forget about it, even in your sleep.
No, but you have to try.
But at least you try to. I mean, the place is relaxing, so
yeah.
It helps you think better about Asante Kotoko.
Exactly. That's key. So follow me.
All right.
And let's go to the court.
The air is fresh.
Very fresh.
So.
Then I crash choked.
Oh, crash choked. Soon we are going to relocate here. The road to here, the place is also very good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Ah, well done, Serena.
So in your spare time, do you do anything to keep fit?
I play tennis sometimes.
Okay.
I haven't played for a while. And then I ride bicycle sometimes. And I do a bit of gym. Don't mind me.
Okay, so now we're gonna go and sit down and have a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I love this place because of the breeze, the view.
Lovely place. The breeze is nice. Very relaxing. Very serene.
Okay. I just want my audience to really know how you ended up back in Ghana. And obviously we're going to talk about the fact that you're the CEO, one of the youngest CEOs of Asante Kotoko. We haven't won the league in many years and you've managed to achieve that title. I want to start from the beginning. Whilst you were in Ghana in school, has your personality always been the same?
My personality has always been the same in the sense that I felt old very early on in age. Around 6 years I thought I was old already. I remember in 1986 when the World Cup in Mexico was ongoing, I was watching a black and white television in my father's friend's house. As the match was ongoing, Maradona scored with his hand. What has come to be known as the hand of God. And I kept shouting, Odinesa, Odinesa, Odinesa. Wow. And the others were like, shut up, who are they who saw Odinesa? And eventually it turned out that it was his hand. I don't feel my age, to be honest.
Why was that? Were you groomed or living with your grandparents or older people around you?
My dad was quite old. So a lot of his friends were my friends.
Okay.
If my dad was alive, he would be around 92
Oh, wow.
years old now, yeah. And a lot of his friends were my friends.
Okay.
So I say that a lot of my friends are dead.
Wow.
Are not alive now, yeah. A few that are alive are around 80, late 70s.
Wow.
And also my siblings, each one was 6 years older than the next.
Okay.
Yeah, out of 4 boys, each one is older than the other 6 years.
Wow.
So you end up being with older siblings,
yeah,
and I'm the
okay.
third of 4.
Okay.
So it turned out that I'm always my brothers, my other brothers' friends are also my friends. So I was always playing about my age.
your age.
Yeah, yeah.
How was your family setting? Like,
Very, very unique one. Even though we're a family of 4 kids, my mom and dad, our house was a very small house. I grew up actually in a mud house.
really?
In the beginning, yeah. Thatch roof,
Wow.
but things developed and improved along the line.
Wow.
And even with the 3 rooms of mud house, we always were about 11, 13 because extended family would come from the village, live with us.
Where were you living?
We're living in a place called Kakasunanka, now known as Sibrepo,
Okay.
opposite Michelle Camp in Tema. My dad was a soldier,
Okay.
so once he retired from the army, it was a choice between going to the village or
Where's your
living.
dad from?
He's from Achim Kwabin,
Okay.
and my mom from Apidra.
Okay.
So I understand it was a debate between my mom and dad. My dad wanted to go back to his hometown with all of us. My mom said, no way,
Right.
we have to live around town, you know, to give opportunities to better opportunities to the kids. So we ended up opposite Michelle Camp. It was then a village, now quite developed,
Yeah,
in the Pong Katamanso constituency. So that was where I grew up, yeah.
So do you think that you guys, your family, living in a 3-bedroom mud house with about 11 of you in one property, did you feel like there was that kind of bond between you guys?
Massive bond. It was quite interesting. We would play, we would go to school together. My mom used to take care of a lot of people. We would go to school together with cousins, come back home. We used to have, you know, small gardens around. We would grow our own stuff, harvest and eat. It was nice, actually. It was nice growing up with so many people around. I mean, it was tough also.
Right.
It was tough also. I remember when we moved from the thatch roof to the normal roofing sheet, and once it rained heavily, thunderstorm, and the whole roof came off, and we were running to a neighbor's house, a better house, and then we were paying food. I remember it was Konkunte. And then, and then when we were running, a cousin of mine ran back to pick the Konkunte from the fire. It's like, hey, what are you doing? You know, it's like, what are we going to eat there? You know. And it was raining heavily. I mean, quite an interesting story. But when I look back now, I say God has been good. Yeah.
God has been definitely
good. Yeah.
So what happened after that? Schooling?
I used to go to school at Michelle Camp Primary.
Okay.
Then at a point, I was moved to Goshen International in Tema.
Okay.
That's an international school. And then from there, I went to Fansipim School in Cape Coast. I came to University of Ghana, Legon. Then whilst in Legon, second year, I mean, once I finished the first year Legon, I mean, then...
What were you studying?
In first year, I studied psychology, political science, linguistics, and economics.
Okay.
But I ended up graduating with psychology and political science combined major. So as soon as we finished the first year, we went on vacation. The itch then was to travel abroad, what they call Uboga, you know, to go and work, come back with some money, because I was determined that from then on I was going to take care of myself. So I got the opportunity to go to UK. I mean, I was bounced the first time. I applied for the visa. I actually went in there and challenged the consular.
Really?
the clearance officer, you know, had a lot of arguments, and then I was asked to come back with the application, and they gave it to me.
Wow.
I raised valid points, actually.
Wow.
And so the entry clearance manager came in to find out why the disturbance. I made my point, and then he said, you have a valid point, you go and bring your documents again.
Wow.
And then I got my visa, went to UK to work. So I would go to UK and work during vacations, come back when school reopens, praying that the school will go on vacation again so I can go back and work. So from then on, I started taking care of myself, paying for my tuition. I mean, it was the first year that we first had electricity in my house, back in Kakasunanka. Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned when we were playing tennis together that you were bitten by a black cobra.
Yeah.
When and how did that happen?
It's a strange one. That was in 1992. I was playing football. My dad and mom had traveled, so I was playing football, very dirty. We didn't have tap in our home. So my dad came back and said, go and have your shower. So I went to a neighbor's house to fetch water. I was with the neighbor's son. While we were fetching the water, a frog passed by and the boy was running away. So I was like, why are you running away? It's only a frog. Before I turned, the cobra, black cobra, big one, had tied my leg, bit me.
Wow.
Left my leg, started screaming. People came around. I was rushed to Tema General Hospital. They said we needed an anti-snake bite. They didn't have one at the hospital. My dad and uncle rushed to town, got one that had expired for 3 months.
Wow.
They brought it, I was injected. At some point, I understand I was pronounced dead.
How old were you at that time?
I was 8 approaching 9, yeah.
Okay.
Just a few months to 9, but
Okay.
I knew everything around me. So I spent 3 months, 3 weeks at the hospital.
Wow.
My leg was rotten. At a point, they were going to amputate my leg.
Wow.
But a senior doctor came in and opted for what they call skin grafting.
Yes.
So they had to cut a bit of my skin from my thigh to fix it. Eventually, it was fixed, and I went home and continued with life.
Wow.
But that stopped me from playing football because it actually damaged my foot completely. Yeah. But
at the age of 8, did you remember the pain you were going through?
Yeah.
Did you feel as if you were dying?
Yeah. Okay, so proud to that. I mean, living in a village like that. I had been bitten by a scorpion before. So we felt that, scorpion bite was the most painful thing in the world. But when I got bitten by a snake, then I realized the difference. It's unbelievable pain, yeah.
And do you think that has molded you in any way?
It molded me in form of my spirituality.
Okay.
Where I believe that until God gives way, no one can take your life. Right from then, I knew that, Jinyame. That's why, how come Jinyame is my motto.
I know, that's always been your motto. You had another kind of devastating part of your journey where your brother passed. How did that affect you?
It affected me very much. I lost 2 brothers. Whilst I was writing my final exams at Legon, April 2006, I lost my dad. So then my elder brothers were in the UK, both of them. So every responsibility was upon my shoulders, and because I had another little brother, he was younger. So right after that, that was devastating enough because this is somebody that you had lived with, learned so much from, like a friend. Our dad was our friend.
Wow.
Then in 2008, April, the one I come after died in the UK. And it was quite devastating. The nature of the death, the fact that he only went to sleep and didn't wake up. And then in March 2011, our firstborn, who was pursuing his Ph.D. in the University of East Anglia, Norwich, also finished his Ph.D., packed his stuff from the lab, went to sleep, didn't wake up the next day.
Wow.
So it shaped me in the form that for 2 years I wasn't sleeping. I was afraid that if I go to sleep, I won't wake up. So I'll sit on the bed, lie on the bed, open my eyes wide. Then eventually, sleep will take me. But when I wake up, I celebrate like a player who has scored a goal. So when people take certain things for granted, thinking, oh, it's just normal that you sleep and wake up, I see it as a privilege to sleep and wake up. It's not natural.
Wow.
It's only a privilege from God because I've seen it firsthand how people can just go to sleep and not wake up.
The March one, very close to your birthday.
It was just after my birthday,
Yeah.
but close to the same date that my dad and the other brother died. They died 8th of April. So each time 8th of April was approaching then, all of us were scared. We didn't know what was wrong because we did all the autopsy, and this was in the UK.
Right.
I did all the tests that there could be, and they didn't find anything, either in the autopsy or in my test. So we call it natural death.
Yeah. Wow. Fast forward, back in the UK, that's where you started your journey in football, right? Or?
I actually started in Ghana. Whilst I was in Legon,
Okay.
I knew I was going to do football
Okay.
all my life. I remember once going to the career and counseling center. I accompanied a lady friend. She said she was going to, get some pep talk about career. So I followed her. Then she was talking about banking and all those things. And the gentleman asked me, what do you want to do in future? I said, football. And they all burst into laughter. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do football. So while I was in Legon, I was still keen about football. I started managing some of the guys that I used to play with at juvenile level as their manager. So right after Legon, I became an agent. My first deal was in Malaysia. I took 2 players. I didn't know any club there. I just knew an individual there. I said, I want to come over. He said, you can come. I took 2 players, went to Malaysia. Whilst I was there, I was contacting agents and clubs, got trial for them, and they were signed. And that's how the journey began.
Right.
So that was in 2007, because I completed Legon in 2006.
Okay.
So in 2008, I decided that I'll write the exams to become an official FIFA licensing agent.
Okay.
And I was among 2 people that passed that year. And then
Only 2?
Only 2 passed.
Wow.
It was one of the most difficult exams you can imagine.
Okay.
It was quite difficult, yeah. And I held that license until 2018. Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
You've worked with some major coaches, managers, players. You've signed a lot of big deals.
Yeah. It was quite enjoyable. I don't just call it a career, I call it a calling.
Okay.
Because the feeling you get when you pick a young boy from a village or, one of the suburbs of Accra, and you're able to guide him to sign a deal in Europe, and then you sit at the back of your television and you watch him in the UEFA Champions League or Europa League, just to see him play, to see him transform his life, transform that of his family and community. That feeling money can't buy. The monetary aspect is just a bonus. So it was something that I was doing for fulfillment, to see that you've been able to transform somebody's life from almost being a street boy, going to other social vices rather than becoming a role model for his family and community. So it's something I loved doing.
What has been your major signing?
I did a lot of signings, but the one that, I don't know if it was because of the relationship I developed with him. Emmanuel Frimpong from Arsenal to Barnsley, then to Russia.
Right.
It was so important for me because I had this idea that there were many players, young talents in the UK who didn't want to experience outside the UK. So even if they were not getting opportunities in the UK, they'd rather go to the lower tier football leagues in the UK rather than go elsewhere and experience. If you look at somebody like Frimpong, he was from the Arsenal Academy to the Arsenal first team, went on loan a couple of times to other Premier League clubs like Wolves, and then to Fulham. Then eventually ended up at Barnsley. And then when Barnsley didn't really work out, I was afraid of the fact that he could end up in League 2 or something. But he went into Russia Premier League and then was playing in Premier League again. And I admire his courage to take that step.
And then you've worked with some managers.
Yeah.
And even to the extent where you're advising these managers on players.
Yeah. It's a matter of knowing what you're doing and being favored to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. For me, the height of it was when I got in touch with Harry Redknapp and I tried to work with him on some deals. And the part where I felt, oh, I have arrived, when I was supposed to attend a meeting with Harry, and then Harry said, yeah, just send me your postcode, I'll come pick you up.
Wow.
And he drove all the way from Bournemouth to Slough to pick me in my house to the meeting in London. And to have that, it was so nice. And I remember that day was a deadline day. So whilst we were in the ride going, there were a lot of managers calling him to seek his advice on signing certain players. And then he would ask me, yeah, what's your opinion on this one? And I felt so important.
Wow. And even him being such a big manager and being humble enough to come to you as somebody that's not on his level, what did that teach you about?
I have always believed in humility because of what I've seen even at that age, the fact that you can go to bed and not wake up. So when I see anybody that is as humble as Harry and the many others like the likes of Tony Fernandez, the owner of QPR, Les Ferdinand and co, how humble they are, it teaches me that it's good to be humble. It teaches me no matter your level. A person like Tony Fernandez is a multi-billionaire, but if you see him, how he'll relate to you, it's so beautiful and it tells you that it's good to be humble.
So knowing what you know and what you've been through and what you've seen in football, are we doing enough in our sports sector in Ghana?
No, we are not doing enough. And it's simply because our mindset is still in the recreational era of football or sports in general. Football used to be, or sports used to be a recreational activity which people used to perform just to, while away time. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So you cannot run it different from any other business. It's even a lot more complicated than normal businesses. Because I have seen very successful people in other sectors of the economy some in aviation, some in music, in different sectors of economy, doing so well, multi-billionaires, they come into football and they fail.
Right.
Because football is so complicated. I say that you can apply football principles in other businesses and be successful, but you cannot transpose other businesses' ideas straight into football and be successful. So we have not been successful because we don't treat it as a business. For instance, let's say you're running Asante Kotoko. You want to go to ZPay for some sponsorship.
Yeah.
ZPay is a company that is being run with a business plan.
Right.
You go to ZPay and you don't have a business plan. You don't have a plan at all. And you say, ZPay, give me money to go run my business that does not have a business plan. And that money is coming from your business that has a business plan.
Right.
That's a contradiction.
Right.
It won't work. So until we understand it as a business, for instance, if it's farming, for instance, you know that you have to first plow the land. You need to put in the seed, plant the seeds. You need to nurture, water it, put in the resources, fertilizers, etc. Allow it to grow, bear fruit.
Right.
Then you harvest. This takes time. So if somebody gives you just 1 grain of corn to plant, then you bite half. Then you put in the half. Then you go to the person and take water to water it. Take fertilizer from the person to nurture it. Knowing very well that you bit half of that.
Yeah.
How do you expect it to grow, germinate, and then grow into the fruit you're looking for?
Right.
So in all aspects of our life, for instance, it means that if somebody gives you $10 million to construct a road, and you end up taking 5 million, that's biting half of the corn.
It's true.
And you put the other 5 million in, you know that you're not going to get the results that you want. So until we invest properly into football as a business, I recently made a statement, and people, some agree, some they didn't want to agree, or they just didn't want to understand. In 2010, we were in South Africa World Cup. We did great, amazingly well. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tariq Lamptey, Eddie Nketiah were 9 years, and 11 years respectively. Then, today, they are 21, 23, and we are chasing them to come play Black Stars. If we had invested well in our own kids here, I'm not saying it's wrong to chase them, no, but if we had invested and taken time to nurture our youth here, we'd have had a lot more of those people.
Right.
So it is important that we invest in the right places. First and foremost, grassroots football, develop it, and give ourselves time to reap. That is the only way to achieve the business side of football.
Those ideas that you have, were they the ideas that you were going to use to run as GFA president?
I was the first to bring out my manifesto on how to develop the nation's football. Initially, when I brought it, there were a lot of talk, oh, we don't win GFA elections with manifestos and all that. Glory be to God. By the time the elections were held, almost every candidate brought their manifesto.
Wow.
So at least there was a bit of change. Now, whoever won had the benefit of all the manifestos that were circulated to pick the best from to develop Ghana football. So at the end of the day, everybody will be judged by the work they put in.
What made you run for GFA president?
I'm a bit ambitious, a bit of an ambitious person. And when I have a strong conviction about something, I go for it. I remember growing up, my friends used to call me the Black Blatter.
Hey.
They used to call me the Black Blatter because I had an ambition to become FIFA president.
Okay.
I was very strong about it.
Okay.
So I remember when I was 23, the GFA were holding a seminar, having a seminar at the stadium. And the topic was why people were not patronizing our game, people were not going to the stadium. This was around 2009. The current GFA president, Kotoko, was then the administrative manager of GACA, Ghana League Club Association. And he invited me to be one of the speakers. At the time, I was 23 years. So during the engagement, I had an encounter with the then president of the GFA, Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, where I made certain assertions, and they were all in agreement with me. So, of course, they set up committees I didn't even know after that. And then around 2014, thereabout, the challenges were still there. So I had one man I admire so much, it's like a godfather, Mr. Abrapia, who was the chairman of the Ghana Premier League board, on Asempa FM, when he said that we talk too much in Ghana, and that many years ago, such a seminar was held, a young man came with brilliant ideas, a committee was formed, he doesn't know what happened to it. So I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So people realized that I had the ideas.
Yeah.
It's not been implemented. Then I should go in and try to implement
Yeah.
it. So in 2017, when I came out and I said I wanted to be FA president, Mr. Nyantechi was still the FA president, and everybody thought I was mad. I mean, what's wrong with you? Who dare challenges Kwesi Nyantechi? I mean, and I was like, I want to.
Right.
So, because I believe that, I always say something. If you're supposed to move from East Legon to airport, and then you get to Accra Mall, and you are not able to find your way to airport, and you go back to East Legon, it's not a failure. The reason being that at least you know from East Legon to Accra Mall.
Yeah.
So the next thing to figure out is from Accra
Accra
Mall
Mall.
to airport. So I believe that even if I went in and I didn't win, I would have made a point. My manifesto will be out there. The ideas will be out there. Whoever wins can pick it.
Right.
And at least I would have impacted some lives. And I was sure I was going to win until what happened.
What
Fear
happened?
delegates.
What happened?
Fear delegates.
So there were some people that was supposed to vote.
Of course, I believed I was going to win. Even the morning of the election, I was so confident the eve of the election. But as elections go, but I didn't disgrace myself. I came third. Everybody thought I was an outsider and I wasn't going to get even one vote. Some said I wasn't even going to get the endorsement, but I ended up getting the endorsement. I ended up amassing 23 votes. The first runoff where I was third and everybody would think, I mean, he's out. I still had 16 votes.
Wow.
So there were still people who believed that he has to win, even though I just fell off to join another candidate. And that really made me proud, yeah.
So did that gear you on to be the CEO of Asante Kotoko?
Honestly, Asante Kotoko was never in my trajectory of plans. Of course, I wanted to do football to the highest level. Right after the election, I went back to UK because I had left the family there for so long to pursue this ambition. So I went back to the UK. While I was in the UK, something struck. I was saying during my elections that one of the problems with our football is branding, that we don't brand it well. There's a reason why the tomatoes at Mokola sells at a different price and that of ShopRite, Accra Mall sells different. Same tomatoes, but one is more expensive than the other because of packaging. So if you package our football well, I believe that we have value for it. So then one of the ideas was that, and I kept saying that if you picked House of Folk and Asante Kotoko and you place them at the Emirates Stadium in London with the same settings, same cameras, you see a different kind of football to what we see here. So while I was in London reflecting, it struck that this idea that I mentioned, why don't I put it to test? So I came down with a friend of mine, Justin. I shared the idea with Justin. He said, let's do it.
Justin Ado.
Justin Ado, you know, he's used to organizing games. And I said, Justin, I want to bring Haas and Kotoko to play in a London stadium. Also, there are a lot of Ghanaian fans, Haas, Kotoko fans, who haven't watched their team live for a very long time. Let's bring it during the then 6th March celebrations. Let them play so we can demonstrate to people that the quality of football is not that bad. It's the setting, it's the packaging that is a problem. So Justin and I came to Ghana to launch it. I mean, we sought your help then, you remember, to get the visas and all that was sorted. Then right before we took off, COVID struck. So I was stuck here. Lockdown was here. Then I got a call from the current chairman that they wanted to engage me to become Kotoko's CEO. I was like, really?
Wow.
Then I got a call from the supporters union on another hand, supporters leadership. They want to propose me as CEO to run Kotoko. I was like, what's happening? This is not in my plan. So I said, okay, I have a way that I do my things. I'm going to put a plan down, show you my plan on how I want to run the club. If you agree with it, then I will also give it a good thought. So I shared the plan. Then they said they were happy with it. A new board was coming to be instituted. They instituted a new board. The board called me. I shared my plans with them. Even then, I wasn't so keen, to be honest with you. I still wasn't fully decided on the job. But God is wonderful. When after the meeting, the document that I shared with the board had leaked.
Leaked out.
But the document that leaked is not the document I shared with the board.
Wow.
So I had shared a document with somebody, I'm not going to mention his name, earlier.
Right.
Even before that board invitation. Then, before the board meeting, I changed the document. I tweaked it.
Wow.
I increased the number of pages and I changed a few things around. And I didn't give them a soft copy. I gave them a hard copy. So the moment they said the document had leaked and I checked, it wasn't the one I gave to the board. So I kept quiet. Then there were words that I don't keep secrets. I've been rejected by Menshia. and a whole lot of polemic. So I wasn't going to take the job. Then I got a call from the UK, a partner of mine, one of my big bosses. He was like, yeah, what is happening in Ghana? I said, what do you mean what's happening? He said, I'm reading all over the place that a certain monarchy has rejected you because you don't keep secrets. I'm like, oh, it's not true. Don't mind them. Forget about it. And it's like, don't take it lightly. It's on the internet. You need to clear your name.
Right.
I said, how do I clear my name? So I started thinking about, this is serious.
Yeah.
If such a huge monarchy is out there, that a huge monarchy has rejected you because you don't keep secrets, then nobody's going to want to work with you when you go back to London. So I started thinking, how do I cure that mischief?
Yeah.
The only way is to accept the job.
Mm.
To prove that I wasn't rejected after all, and it's not true that I don't keep secrets. So as God will have it happen, I went in and you know the story.
Yeah.
We went in together.
But how did you pick your team?
You know,
Because I don't think a lot of people know you, but you're a very calculated person. Like, you really think about things before you act. And you read into a lot of things. Yeah. Things that sometimes we don't even think about as a team, right? Yeah. Where sometimes I'll be like, no, we should. Like, calm down, calm down. And then you will kind of not twist it, but just give like a different view to what we're seeing. So how did you come about putting up your team?
Okay. One thing about me that people do not know is that I always say that you can't be knowledgeable in medicine, but be an illiterate in engineering.
Wow.
But the wisdom of God, when you have it, you can apply it in all situations. And that wisdom only comes from above. I wouldn't come to this interview and think that, oh, I'm going to smash it. Oh, I know what I'm going to say. No. All along as we were playing tennis, I was praying to God, teach me what to say. Because you can utter one word that finishes your career. Right. So I consult God 24/7 on all matters. And I have such a relationship with God that He shows me certain things before they happen. A lot of things, I see them before they happen. So when they happen, I know that's the timing.
Right.
This is what's going to happen. So I need to be calm, to allow it to play, to see that it's the exact thing I saw. I remember during the FA elections, I met one man, one big man, I won't mention his name, and he said something that really inspired me. He said he had seen and come into power with two different Ghanaian presidents. And that he had never seen a man so prepared for a position. Wow. He thinks that a lot of people campaign for positions, but they go in there and they learn on the job. Like they're not going to see what am I going to do. But he realized that I knew what I was going to do at every point in time. That's where you come in with you're a very calculated person. I have a plan. Yeah. And once I test that plan with God and I have the okay, nothing stops me. Nothing stops me. And I consult every step of the way. So as we are seated and we are speaking as a management team, and everybody's coming with ideas, I'm praying in my head, God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then when I get the message, sometimes you see I'm a difficult person. Yeah. You know that when I'm sure about that, I won't take what you say. Yeah. Not that I won't listen. I will listen. Yeah. But because I say that in this life, whatever decision you make, if you allow people to make decisions for you, when it's time to defend that decision, only you will defend that decision. Right. So there's nothing wrong in people consulting and making people make an input into your decision making. But the ultimate decision has to come from you so that you can defend that decision. When the time comes to defend, you don't say, oh, the entire said we should do that, and Yuma said we should do that, and David said we should do that. That's how come we did that. No, the buck stops with you. Right. And I think I have a great team. I mean, all of you never let me down. I consulted David, contacted Yuma, all of you. I mean, you were the difficult catch, but eventually you came through, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of you, your support. So,
and I think there was positive and negative press, right? One, you're too young. How can this young person be a CEO of Asante Kotoko? And how did that make you feel as a person who's only 39 years old with lots of years
at
to
the
come?
time, I think I was 37.
You're 37, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I say that the age of Methuselah has nothing to do with the miracles of Jesus Christ. Maturity is not synonymous with age. And experience even is not synonymous with age. Somebody may be 70 and they never try to bear any risk in life. Easy go, lucky type, 1, 2, 3, 70. Somebody is 30 and they've tried so many things, they've experienced so much. And experience is also got to do with the field you are going into. You may be experienced as a doctor in medicine, but when it comes to football, no matter your age, you cannot be more experienced than me in my field.
Right.
So that is one. And then again, you see, you need a certain balance. I don't want to sound too controversial, but Jerry John Rawlings, our former president, was I think 27 when he had the coup. And at the time when guns were blazing, nobody said, hey, I collaborate for you, or not. Before everybody listened to him. You know, and he came to rule. And I mean, people will judge how he ruled, but at the end of the day, it's there for all of us to judge. And as I'm saying, at the time of 37, when I became Kotoko CEO, if I was a medical doctor in a hospital and an adult who feels he's more experienced than me had an accident and he was brought in for me to take care of, to save his life, he wouldn't say, you are 37, don't save my life.
It's true.
People use Facebook and they are enjoying it. People are 80, 70, they use Facebook and they are enjoying it. How old is the founder of Facebook? So that doesn't come in at all. We need to respect people and respect expertise.
In UK, US, I think when you're young, people actually listen to you. But I think in Ghana, it works a bit different.
I think it's more of our cultural settings and then the fact that people have certain mindset that, oh, you have to have grade to be experienced, you have to have grade to have sense in your head. But I think it's changing a bit, but it's taking too long.
Yeah.
And we need to change because the world is changing and people have knowledge and experience in diverse areas. So for me, when I'm into any group and they're speaking about something that I'm not experienced, I don't have knowledge of, I shut up and listen. But there are people who think that once you are old, you should know everything.
Everything's true.
And it doesn't matter. Now IT rules the world. If you want to see the best IT gurus in the world, they are all young kids. I mean, they know their stuff. So we should respect expertise, as I keep saying.
When you became Asante Kotoko CEO, one of the things that was trending was the fact that you said that Asante Kotoko is bigger than NPP and NDC. What made you say that? And why do you think that Asante Kotoko is that big?
It's factual, just that people are afraid to speak certain truth. If you put NPP here and you ask all Asante Kotoko supporters to come out of it, you see the result. If you put NDC here, you ask Asante Kotoko supporters to get out of it, you see the results. At the end of the day, I didn't grow to see, but when I read, Kwame Nkrumah's CPP was quite huge.
Right.
Today, where is CPP? But Asante Kotoko was, still is, and will be tomorrow.
Right.
No disrespect to any groupings, but it is mighty. And if you look at it from that perspective, you know that Asante Kotoko is a massive, massive grouping. It will go beyond time. A time will come, maybe the parties we see today we may not see, but Asante Kotoko forever be there.
Right. 86 years when Asante Kotoko was formed. How do you see the development?
It's been up and down. I mean, I am not 86 years old. At least I know the little that I've seen, the history that I've read. If you take Asante Kotoko as a human being at 85, the club has achieved everything it was created to achieve in that lifetime of 85. Record league holders in Ghana, won 2 Champions Leagues, done great things. But at 85, you die, and then a new born comes, doing things differently. So that is the direction that Asante Kotoko needs to go. I also said that there's nothing new that we're necessarily going to do that had not been done before. Then again, leagues, FA Cups, Champions League, it's all been done before. We've won the league this year. For me, it's nothing new. Even though we had not won it 8 years prior to that, people have won it before. If we win Champions League tomorrow, it's not the first time. People have won it before. But what has been lacking, which we, this management, we've tried to put in, is to have continuation. Because it's as if at the end of every management, there's a start from ground zero. So people come, build, others come and start from ground zero. Take it as if we are consultants, as I always say, that have been brought in to build a house. We build a solid foundation, and we are not able to finish the building. Somebody must come and build to the lintel. Somebody must come and roof it, finish the block work, roof it. Somebody must come and plaster it and paint it. Somebody must decorate it. Somebody must furnish it. Then you have a complete building.
Right.
Again, as consultants, if you help us to put in a structure that will stand the test of time, when we are not there, you will benefit. But if you don't allow us to put in a quality work to have a good structure, and we leave as consultants, it will collapse on you one day. That is why it is important the fans and the fraternity of Asante Kotoko help us to put in an edifice that will stand the test of time.
How do you see Asante Kotoko fans? I know that they love you, champion CEO, as they call you, but sometimes they can also get very upset, right?
You can understand them. Football fans are emotional people. We are all football fans. I mean, there are times Manchester United is beaten and I don't even eat, and I get upset with everybody in my house for nothing.
Right.
So it's quite an emotional thing being a football fan. The only thing you get is the joy of your team winning. And, Asante Kotoko is a cultural institution, it's a religious institution, it's a political institution, socio-economic institution. It's a huge institution with all manner of people in there. You don't have all of them acting the same way. But one thing we have enjoyed is their support, and we love them for that. But I don't think we are enjoying their support in a vacuum. We show them the direction that we want to take the club, and they believed in that direction, and they've seen the signs and wonders in that direction. That is how come they are supporting us. When Jesus Christ came, there were people who doubted him.
Yeah.
But there were people who also followed him for his miracles and his word. Even at the time of his death, people still didn't believe him,
Sure.
despite all the miracles.
Yeah.
I mean, resurrecting people from the dead and all that. People still doubted him. So we don't expect everybody to believe us. But those who believe in us, we should not let them down. So for me, it's not even about pressure from fans. It's about pressure knowing that tomorrow is not yours.
Right. And the minutes that we have spent working with the club, 2020 during COVID was one of our biggest years in terms of raising sponsorship for the club. How were we all able to achieve that? Was it because of the management team, or was it that the proposals that we were bringing, the branding that we were bringing on board? Why do you think people gravitated to support us?
Key was the fact that we respect expertise, and I keep reiterating that. The management team that we have, we rely on the expertise within. I mean, you are an expert in bringing in sponsorship. I've done sponsorship in the UK for over 6 years, sports sponsorships. So if you look at the nature of our proposals that we were taking, because around COVID, a lot of companies were struggling to sell. They were struggling to market. At the same time, they had budgets to spare. And we did not go in and say, oh, it's COVID time, we are struggling, give us money. We said, it's COVID, you need help, and we can help you.
Right.
So you help us.
Yeah.
So more of partnership proposals than sponsorship.
Yeah.
And so they also realize that, of course, what they are saying makes sense. If we partner them, we can, increase our revenue. Then again, brand association is all about show me your friend, I'll show you your character. We had come in and branded the club, but you are a brand on your own.
Yeah.
I had a little brand there, our other colleagues.
Yeah.
So putting all that together should appeal to people. And when you go into sponsorship meetings, you should be able to, or partnership meetings, you should be able to demonstrate to the other partner that they need you just as you need them. Yeah. And I've always said to partners, and you remember that, let's say you are earning 1 million revenue a year, and with us you are going to earn 2 million and give us 1 million. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Because you're making 1 million anyway. It's better if we come in and we're going to help you to make 3 million and you give us 1 million, then you know that we've increased yours by 1 million also. These are the reasons why I think we've managed to bring in the sponsorships. And I thank all our sponsors. I can't thank them enough for the support, especially in the difficult times that we've all been. And they continue to support us, and we will not let them down. We'll continue to grow. We've had some results on the pitch this time, and I think they're all happy about it. Yeah.
But weren't there moments where, like, do I really have to be going through this?
I am somebody that, I don't know, it's crazy, but I function under pressure. I'm a solution-oriented person. When there's all this brouhaha, I'm looking for a solution in there. Of course, there have been times that you feel that, should I really push? There was one particular time, and you would remember, where there was this controversy that some people lied on me, and I had to go to a deity to say I didn't do it. I looked at it and I said, no, this is the end of it. But I prayed to God again, and God said something to me. He said, when Daniel was put in that lion's den, It wasn't because he wanted to be there, but he believed in me and I was there with him. When Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were put in the fire, it wasn't because they wanted to be there, but I was there to prove that I'm God. So go, and I'll be there with you. And I went, and here we are.
What legacy do you want to leave at Asante Kotoko?
I want us to leave a solid foundation such that any new management that comes in can continue from there. They don't have to start from the scratch. For the first time in the history of the club, as you know, the last season, we ran the club solely on internally generated funds. For the first time in the history of the club, without contributions from any directors or individuals. And that is massive. And when Her Majesty Otumfuo gave the board a mandate, who in turn gave us the mandate, one of the targets was to make the club self-sustainable, to be economically viable. And I think we are on course. I will want a situation where by the time we are leaving, I mean this year, our accountant tells me, and I saw the report, financial report, we declared profit. Under all these circumstances, we brought in a fiscal asset, look at the bus, we're worth over 2 million cedis. We're also putting up a structure at Adakoja. So we want to have one infrastructural development in the club. We also want to have that financial base. And we also want to inspire hope in the fans again. That is doable. It's doable. And I've always said that Asante Kotoko is bigger than a lot of foreign clubs that I've had the chance of being with in terms of stature. But it's the content that has been lacking. So if you can match the stature with a befitting content, that will be it for me.
Do you think that we like successful people in Ghana? Like, do we support success?
Another controversial question. I am of the opinion that as Ghanaians and as Africans, we have failed over and over and over to a point where we have become more comfortable with failure than success. So anytime we see success, no, it's not possible. But we welcome failure easily. Oh, they couldn't do it. Oh, see a kind. They did it. No. How did they do it? So this orientation needs to change. We need to embrace success. And it's so common to a point where if somebody is rich, it's Ikedro, or cocaine, or if the person is poor and you're here, So we need to change this orientation. People need to embrace success.
Who are the people that have inspired you on your journey?
Kufuor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Why?
Incidentally, we went to the same school.
Really?
School. But I admired him. I admired him a lot for the fact that no matter where he got to, he didn't change as a person.
Right.
His accent didn't change. I mean, you and I, we've tried to change our accent a bit. Don't mind me. It's the fact that the London is in us, isn't it?
Yes.
But I mean, Kufuor was so calm, sober, level-headed. I was listening to his story when he said he came to Ghana, he tried to settle, and then he was frustrated and had to go back and make it there. I think that as Ghanaians, we should help people settle easily. Otherwise, we will lose a lot of people to the diaspora. There's nothing wrong in being in the diaspora anyway, but when people are in the diaspora and they try to come back and impact back home, we should welcome them and give them all the necessary support.
So would you ever run for GFA President again?
I can't say yes or no now. My focus is Asante Kotoko at the moment, to finish our mandate, see to the feedback from the fans, from the appointing authority, and then we'll take it from there. But never say never. I mean, I cannot make myself GFA President. It all depends on the football fraternity. Right. But for now, the focus is fully Asante Kotoko. Yeah.
A lot of people say that, you don't get on with Kurt, the current GFA President. But I've seen you talk to him, I've seen call him, he calls you. So what is the relationship that's been put out there?
We have always had a good relationship, Kurt and I. I mean, being in the industry, we consulted each other way before this FA presidency thing came about. And we still have that relationship. It's not, we're not like the friends where I'll go to his house or you come to my house. But there were times when I was in London, he would come there and he would call me, we'll meet over coffee. We still discuss football. We are not enemies. We went into a contest, he won, and we've supported him. It's more of the people who follow him and people who follow me who think that we are enemies. It's just like maybe His Excellency Nana Yaw and His Excellency John Mahama, where people think that, they should be enemies because they are on different.
Yeah.
Even football is not that political where we should have different parties.
Right.
We are around fraternity. When the opportunity comes, we contest. Whoever wins, we support him, and then we move on. So we have a good relationship. I don't think that we've ever had any bad blood between us. No.
And what about some of the radio stations that are polluting our names? You know, that are. How does that make you feel when you hear some stuff and you're just like, is that me?
Okay, so before the Kotoko job, you know, I used to believe in the saying that there's no smoke without fire.
Okay.
But after we took the job, I don't believe in that saying anymore. Because I remember once, just before I was appointed, I was lying on my bed in the house, just, you know, COVID time, going through Facebook. Then I came onto a radio, platform, like they are doing their Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And the person was like, make us say, NanaYawAmponsah, SCF free, V8 more menshia, we boy menshia, tinted glasses. I was like, is that me he's talking about? There's another NanaYawAmponsah. From then on, I realized that it's not all that they say, that at least there is an iota of truth. So me, I don't listen to the radio deliberately. I ask my family, don't listen. I try not to watch television about all that. I'm so focused. And who beties you, you go listen to an insult, and you come and relay it to me, I'll tell you, please, I don't want to hear it. If I want to hear it, I'll go and listen myself. Don't go listen to insults and then come and report to me. I don't take that at all. So there are friends and family who will call you and say, oh, I was listening to this station and they said, I say, hey, please, keep it to yourself.
Right.
I've blocked that out. I don't want to know about it. And that has helped me and all of us to focus. I know sometimes people will come with that to you and you're like, what are we doing? I'm like, calm down.
Calm down.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of calming down in Ghana, right?
Yeah.
You have to be really patient.
You have to be patient because, okay, so for those of us who have been in diaspora and then back, you know that two different worlds, culture, people's perceptions, your orientation is different. So you need to readjust and to fit in, not to change. No, I believe that you need the best of both sides to be a good person, but you need a lot of calming down because things that wouldn't be an issue, say in the UK, such a big issue here, and such a big issue in the UK is more or less nothing here sometimes, you know, so you have to adjust between the two. So sometimes people come with something that they think is trivial and you are so upset.
Yeah, sure.
Because you cannot take that. And then, you know, you are telling them something that is so serious and they think that is so trivial.
Yeah.
It's all because of the orientation from both sides, yeah.
I actually want to pick out your brain on what 5 things you would do if you were president.
Being president means that you're supposed to run the country, every sector of economy and beyond. So there's so much that you're going to do. But I think that what is important is that as a president, you should be remembered for at least something at the end of your tenure. You can try to do so many things, but you will not be remembered for any of them. That's the problem with some of our politicians, where they try to do a bit of everything, jack of all trade, master of none. Of course, you have to run the entire company, but you need to be remembered for something. For instance, if you mention free SHS now, it points to one person. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. If you mention Terminal 3, it points to somebody. Right. But key is the orientation of this country. It's a difficult thing, but we need to change. It's a real difficult thing, but we need to change the orientation of this country from children upwards. Right. Because until you change the orientation, you cannot stop Accra flooding. Right. Until you change your orientation, you can't stop the filth that is all over. Until you change the orientation, you can't stop corruption. Because the corruption is not being done by aliens. It's being done by our people. Those who are throwing things into our gutters, choking the gutters, causing flooding, are our people. So the orientation of the people need to change. And that needs to change right from the school. That is why I believe in universal basic education, free compulsory basic education. Right. From childhood, right from childhood, it must be compulsory for every parent to take their children to school. Because there are certain things that you learn at that point, and we need to enforce our laws.
Right.
Because no matter, you see, I always say that human beings, let's not forget we are animals, first and foremost. We are animals, and those animalistic instincts are in us. The only thing that reduces those instincts, the law enforcement, the orientation, and the moral and cultural upbringing. That's the only thing. So if somebody goes to commit murder, it's just like a lion seeing another animal and just, or even another lion and fighting it and killing it.
Right.
But what makes it different in our setting is that we are human beings, and there are laws and there are cultural beliefs and moral beliefs, trainings that tells you cannot do that.
Right.
So until we enforce law to the latter, nothing is going to change. That is one. Then, as I said, you need to have a policy, believe in it. When I was in Malaysia in 2007, there's something I observed. Most of their roads, highways, are towed. Quality roads, and they are privatized.
Okay.
So a certain company owns the road from this stretch to that stretch, and they have about 5 toll booths on it. Each session you pay, and you drive on a good road.
Right.
Why do we go borrow money to come construct roads? Go borrow money to come and maintain the same roads. I think our educational setting is also problematic. Because if somebody goes to university now and they complete in Ghana, it's just the certificate.
Right.
That we don't pay much attention to handiwork as it is in the UK. And that is why I used to believe in the fact that those days vocational education was given a lot of attention. So somebody finishes JHS and there's some vocational training in terms of carpentry, masonry, or if we paid a lot of attention to that, even if you're not able to go to SHS, you have some handiwork to do. If you finish SS and you're SHS, you are not able to go to university, you have some handiwork to do. Because you and I know that in the UK, plumbers earn so much, bricklayers earn so much, carpenters earn so much, and because all these services are needed, and people who are doing it are qualified because they've gone through some formal training. This is going to help cure the unemployment situation, where you create more self-employed people.
Yeah.
Because you know how you do the self-assessment in the UK, where you are self-employed and you do your self-assessment tax, and then you are paying tax.
Right.
This also helps to raise more tax to develop the country, rather than so many people evading tax knowingly and unknowingly.
Right.
So that is very, very important. Then security. Security is so key. When you say security, people are thinking about the police all over the place, the military all over the place. The country, the communities need to be secured. And it starts with street lighting, proper lighting within the communities. Sometimes you are walking in Ghana, you are walking in darkness. Not that there isn't electricity in the area, but even with the electricity, the place is so dark. I always say to people that Ghana is a blessed country with people who are not naturally wicked in terms of like knife crimes like you find in the UK, or gun crimes like you find in America.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be haphazard because the darkness around, the real lack of security and consciousness of security in the country amazes me, and it's something that we need to really work on. There are several things that I like to do, but of course I'm not president, and then so I cannot say everything.
What I'm hearing is orientation
Yep.
of the people,
Yep.
of Ghanaians. I'm hearing education.
Yeah.
I'm hearing policy.
Yep.
I'm hearing
Security.
Infrastructure, security,
Yeah.
law enforcement.
Yeah.
So 6 things. You've said more than
5. Wow. Wow. Don't put me on the campaign platform then.
But you know, CEO, I think you are a person to be admired.
Oh.
I think that you've achieved a lot in your 39 years. 40 next year.
Ooh.
Yeah, 40 next year. And so I'm wondering what other things that are going to come your way, and maybe I don't know what the future holds and what you're planning with your future. I know you have a beautiful wife and 2 adorable children, Papa and Amma. But what does the future look like? Any more children?
I'll answer it biblically. The Bible, Jesus said that those of you that worry so much, how many of you, or can any one of you add one string of hair to his hair, or add 1 second to the life that you have on earth? I mean, I always say that in all things, I trust God to direct me. If I step out here and sit in a taxi, I trust the taxi driver to take me to my destination.
Right.
So why not entrust my whole life into God's hand? Man proposes, God disposes. So I'll leave God to direct my path. And somebody that I'm not taken aback, or I don't give up because I wanted to use one route and it didn't work, so I go back. No. If I want to go to Tema from Accra and the motorway wouldn't work, I'll use the Spinters Road. It may take longer, but I'll still get to my destination.
You're always so much wisdom.
From above.
Always so much wisdom. So do you see yourself staying in Ghana now, fully?
Yes, that's my feeling. That's what I want to do. But if tomorrow God says you have to be elsewhere to, impact life, whom am I?
Who am I? Who am I? Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been very inspiring. I'm sure a lot of people have learned the other side of Nana Yaw Amponsah, NYA, champion CEO.
Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed my time with you.
You're very welcome. To my fans, to the people watching, to Asante Kotoko fans, thank you all for your support, your love, and sticking behind our CEO, which we're all fully behind. We are ready to make the change that we need to make and to make the impact that we need to make. Thank you all.